Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, JCF reviews the protocols after wrong man listed as wanted for murder. The Jamaica Constabulary Force says it has undertaken a thorough review of its internal processes and the quality management systems after a man was mistakenly listed as wanted for murder and subsequently detained by the police. The innocent man, Orlando Gray, says that the ordeal has left him distressed. On Wednesday, TVJ News reported that Gray was working with his father in Manchester on May 28 when he became aware that his image was being circulated on a wanted poster. Initially, he thought it was a prank, but soon realized that it was sanctioned by the JCF. He said he, a pastor and a football coach, went to the Mandeville police station the following morning to turn himself in and make further inquiries. After he explained the issue, he was told that he would be placed in custody before being taken to Portmore St. Catherine, where he faced questioning. He subsequently retained a lawyer and was later released. Gray said his ordeal was made worse by the fact that his image remained on the JCF's social media pages even after his release and was only removed after he pressed the matter. The JCF notes that Gray shares the same name as a man who is legitimately wanted by the police. The force admitted that it made an error. We deeply regret this mistake and offer our sincerest apologies to Mr. Orlando Gray, recognizing any inconvenience or distress that may have been caused, the JCF said in a statement on Friday. Following the incident, the JCF said it initiated a review of its processes to ensure the accuracy and integrity of all information released to the public. We are committed to preventing any recurrence of such errors in the future, it said. As always, we remain dedicated not only to reducing crime and ensuring public safety, but also to upholding the human rights and the civil liberties of every individual. We thank the public for their understanding and the continued support, the JCF added. Driver in fatal Portmore crash on Municipal Boulevard pleads guilty. A driver who was involved in a crash along Municipal Boulevard in Portmore St. Catherine in 2021 pleaded guilty to causing death by dangerous driving in the circuit court on Thursday. 25-year-old Akil Gordon is to be sentenced by Justice Dale Palmer on July 29. Facts are that on June 12, 2021, Gordon was driving a Toyota Axia motor car along the roadway with a passenger aboard when he collided with a Toyota Hiace motor truck. The impact resulted in the passenger, identified as Therese Barrington, being injured. He was assisted to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. An investigation into the matter resulted in Gordon's arrest and the subsequent charge. He is being represented by attorney at law Denise Hinson. Motorcyclist killed in crash in Linstead, St. Catherine. A motorcyclist was killed in a crash with a car along the Linstead bypass in St. Catherine on Thursday. The deceased has been identified as Bertland Graham of Bog Walk in the parish. Reports are that about 6:40 p.m., Graham was riding a motorbike along the roadway when he collided with a Toyota Axia motor car. Graham and the driver of the car were assisted to the Linstead Hospital, where Graham was pronounced dead. The driver was warned for prosecution. The Bog Walk Traffic Police are investigating the matter. Deportee arrested on arrival for alleged sexual offense. A man who was wanted for having sex with a person under the age of 16 was arrested and charged upon arrival following his deportation from the United States. Charged is 28-year-old Sanjay Siki Walsh, a forklift operator of Connecticut and Tremolsworth, St. Mary. Reports are that Walsh arrived on the island on Wednesday and was met at the airport by law enforcement officers with a warrant for his arrest. Walsh was reportedly being charged in connection with a 2017-2018 incident in which he allegedly had sexual intercourse with a then 15-year-old girl. The complainant, who is now 23 years old, reported that she had met Walsh in 2016 and they developed a relationship. It is alleged that they engaged in sexual intercourse during the stated period. A formal report was made, however Walsh had migrated. A warrant was therefore issued for his arrest on his arrival back on the island. St. Elizabeth man dies in house fire, 3 relatives injured. A man died in a house fire in Newton, St. Elizabeth on Thursday morning. He has been identified as 40-year-old Ezra Gale. 3 members of his family, 2 women and a man, were injured in the blaze. Residents reportedly heard screams for help and they saw fire coming from the 12-bedroom dwelling sometime after 4 a.m. One resident said neighbors were able to assist the 3 persons from the house before it was totally engulfed by flames.
When we come out, the one side of the house is on fire already. And the lady inside, she has said, help me, help me, help me. Now we go into the cooler, say, where your mommy? And she say, in mommy in there. We say, all right, we could help your mother come out. But we help 3 come out, but the next one we can't. We couldn't make it around that side. The fire went too much for that side. If we have more help, we could have managed. But the help there.
A teenager escaped unharmed. 2 units from the Santa Cruz Fire Station extinguished the blaze. Superintendent Kimar Brooks, Divisional Commander for St. Elizabeth Fire Department, said the cause of the fire has not been determined. As the St. Elizabeth Fire Department investigates the deadly blaze, it is appealing for homeowners to have clearly established escape plans in the event of emergencies.
I want to use this medium also to encourage persons who occupy dwellings that are grilled to ensure that the keys are kept at a central location so all occupants can have access in cases like this. I also want to encourage the citizens here in St. Elizabeth to be familiar with the telephone numbers for the fire stations in your area, because this will aid in our response time so we can get to the scenes as fast as possible.
Man sentenced to life imprisonment for gun and ammunition possession. A man has been sentenced to life imprisonment and ordered to serve 25 years before being eligible for parole for possession of 3 firearms and ammunition. Nicholas Hibbert, also known as Don Don and the Blacks, pleaded guilty to gun-related charges on March 3 in the High Court Division of the Gun Court and was sentenced on Monday. On March 6, 2024, about 11:30 a.m., a team assigned to the St. Catherine South Police Division, armed with a search warrant, reportedly went in search of Hibbert in Central Village, St. Catherine. On seeing the police team, he reportedly ran in his house and tried to lock out the police team. The police said he was accosted and searched. His premises was also searched. The court was further told that a .38 revolver containing 6.38 rounds and a 9mm Smith & Wesson M&P pistol with a magazine containing 9mm rounds were found inside a closer barrel in his bedroom. A further search of his premises was conducted and a Norinco SKS 7.62 rifle with an empty magazine was found in a knitted bag and was buried at the rear of the property. Hibbert was subsequently charged with 3 counts of possession of prohibited weapon, 1 count of unauthorized possession of ammunition, and 1 count of stockpiling prohibited weapons. He was sentenced to 21 years and 9 months imprisonment on the gun possession charges to serve 15 years before being eligible for parole. Life imprisonment for unauthorized possession of ammunition to serve 20 years before being eligible for parole, and life imprisonment for stockpiling prohibited weapons to serve 25 years before being eligible for parole. The sentences are to run concurrently. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.